Hello? Oh, snap.
All right, now try saying something.
Hello?
There
Hello?
you are.
Alright, cool. Alright, give me a second.
Yeah, so how have you been, man?
I'm. Oh, man, I've been so busy. I've been trying to get,
Yeah.
like, this project done and stuff. And I was supposed to, like, interview a lot more people. I was slacking.
Oop, hold on a sec. All right. So sorry about that. What was that?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, I've just been working on some final stuff for the semester.
Yeah, your semester's about to end soon, right?
Yeah, but I got, like, so much to do before it does, so. Second.
Yeah, this or rather, are you excited for this debacle of a bachelor party that's going on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's gonna be, like, it's gonna be so crazy. I've like when he announced more people were going, I was just like, oh shit,
Yeah,
like
I
getting
already
close.
initially planned to bring my air mattress. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm fine. I'm sitting with that.
All right, uh, so let's get started.
Alrighty.
All right, so first question, so how long have you been streaming?
I would say on and off since 2010. So like 7 years.
Nice, nice. And what persuaded you to start streaming?
It was more like I had all the equipment to do so because I was into music and video gaming, so it was just combining them both. And it's like, hey, I have mics, I have interfaces to plug guitars and mics in, and I play video games, so why don't I just put it together and do the same thing as these guys are doing?
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty good reason, man. You already had the equipment and stuff, so.
Yeah, I didn't have to invest much to it.
But so like when you're streaming, like, do you have like a goal when you stream?
More or less, just I want to first and foremost enjoy the game because if I'm not, I just feel like it's not a good stream in the first place. You know, like I don't want to intend people to watch me get frustrated or just be like, "This is boring. I want to fall asleep now."
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always just the enjoyment of the game, and then just to share it with others. If anyone wants to happen to stumble in, see what it's like, check it out. Hear my thoughts on it. If they want a quick synopsis on it or something, I'll give it out.
So like, what kind of games do you usually end up streaming?
It's kind of a variety of either first-person shooters or puzzle games, like whether it's 2D or just a simple point and click.
Uh, so like some of the games you stream, like, do you see them like towards like the top of like the popularity of like Twitch's top streaming games?
Oh, was that? Sorry, you're cracking out.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why it does that. So I was saying like, so some of the games that you stream, do you end up seeing like these games like at the top of like some of the top games being streamed?
Like as far as the games I play,
Yeah, like how like the popularity on Twitch, like do you play like a lot of games that are popular on Twitch?
oh yeah, I mean, the one of the newest ones that came out that's up on the top right now is Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, and I've been liking that a lot because it's a mixture of third person and first person. So it's got a good variety, but it's also just it's a 100 versus one for all, free for all, you know survival game.
And and do you feel like you're more likely to gain followers or like stream or like viewers if you're playing like the more popular games?
It's that's kind of a toss up, really, because you're swimming against the tide of some of the biggest streamers touching that kind of game. Like more or less, I would get people that are intended to look for the smaller guys.
Right, right.
The guys that are aiming, they'll just scroll down the list and go, all right, I see this guy has 30,000, this other guy has 14,000. Let me just scroll wheel all the way down, keep going. Oh, here we go.
So like what kind of steps do you think you would take in that case to find a way to like stand out a little bit or like to help get viewers to come to your stream?
The biggest part of it is establishing a community, and it's more on reaching out to people, talking with them, or even just joining other existing communities and participating with them, but also not deliberately trying to take them away, but kind of share, your own community of sorts.
And so like, what would you define as like a successful streamer?
Um, I guess as far as a successful streamer, well, I guess there's streamer and then there's full time. So, I guess there would be different tiers to that. But as far as a successful streamer, someone who can enjoy it fully for hours on end, because it's consistency that makes streaming much more possible as far as getting any following or gaining anything. Is as long as you're consistent on time and schedule, people will tend to try and follow with you, because as long as you have a time frame, and as long as you're on there long enough, like 30 minutes isn't going to be quite enough for anyone to want to hop in and talk with you or see anything you're doing.
And so is there like any part of like setting up the stream or like streaming itself that you'd feel is kind of like monotonous or like mundane or like, you just don't, it's like unfulfilling for you?
uh Not so much mundane. It's just always fun, because I mean, for me, I like video gaming, so whether I'm streaming or not, I'm just having fun with it. uh I would say the only, I guess, annoying part of it is setting up, preparing. I like to do the green screen thing more or less to show a personality or the person behind, not just being
Face
the
cam.
disembodied voice,
Yeah, yeah.
so they could see the face of who they're talking to, and they could see me, but I don't take up any of the screen real estate of the video game, which is the topic at hand of what they're looking at. So I have to make sure my lights are on, and then set up the green screen, and then position it right, make sure it's not showing like anything in my room in the background and stuff like that.
And yeah, so that's probably like the only like, that's only like the only monotonous part of it is just trying to set up.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the game, really too. Some games it's like, this doesn't really need a face cam.
Yeah.
It's kind of a showpiece on its own, so I don't need to show my face here. But if it's a game I'm just relaxing with, chilling, I'll have my face up there. I just have to set up everything.
And so you see like there's like a lot of full-time streamers out there, like they get like thousands of views. Like, do you notice any patterns between these like full-time successful streamers?
I would say there are a few common grounds where they kind of intersect. It's people who had a previous background on the internet already from either like YouTube or something, that they've already gained this following, that once they announced they were on Twitch, people just flooded to it naturally. And then you also have people who were kind of the forerunners of when Twitch was first up and coming. These people latched onto it immediately, and they were the only ones there to begin with, that they just grew from there.
Because I never really thought about it like
Yeah,
that.
I would say those are the biggest ones.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if you look at the big numbers, other than when you look at something like, if you look at it right now, you'll probably see League of Legends being the first one.
Right.
That's where more of the professionals, or the hosts of leagues and stuff like that would be at the top.
And so would you say like your equipment has like a reflection? Your equipment is a reflection of your commitment to like to Twitch streaming.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I would say it's something known as gas. I would say I have, and it's a gear acquisition syndrome, and that's just you feel the need to want to get better things and stuff like that, and it's either for the just sole purpose of owning it, or the fact that it makes you feel like it'll make you sound better or something.
Yeah.
It's just something that, ever since playing music, it's like, oh, I want this really nice guitar, I want this really nice amp, and then with video games, I want this really nice graphics card, I want this really nice monitor, and
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel you. I go through the same thing sometimes. um, yeah, and so like how many on average viewers or like, oh, actually, how many followers do you currently have? Just wondering.
Let me look at it because I haven't looked at that number in a while. I want to say it's here. It is 35.
All right, and so what's the hardest part about like trying to build build a viewer base or like to build your stream?
Right now for me, it's consistency because I've been moving a lot that I can't stream. Like that's the thing I noticed is that the longer I'm off, the more people just kind of leave or unfollow or something like that. Because I'm not doing anything, obviously. Um, like I said, it's been off and on, but it seems to be key that as long as you have a schedule, if you have time to dedicate towards it, uh, people will tend to follow you, watch you, and all that, and they can kind of plan around you too. When you have a set schedule, like oh, at 6 in the evening, he's always on, and around that time I'm free, so I'll watch him. It's convenient for me.
And sorry, I just that might be all the questions I have for now.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm like so my project's pretty much about like it's this thing called screen work where
Mm-hmm.
screen work is pretty much just like when you're like in front of like screens but like you're doing like mundane like monotonous work.
Mm-hmm.
So like pretty much in journalism
Okay.
that happens a lot.
I Okay, yeah, I mean, as far as my main job, I'm actually a data entry kind of guy, so I just stare at a screen typing in
Yeah,
numbers all day.
so you pretty much do screen work when you go to work. And I'm trying
Yeah,
to relate that to like Twitch streamers and I'm trying to
I would say
figure
it's
out
not hard for me to do things something like Switch since I do that at work.
yeah, yeah. And so, like, one of the questions I usually have is like, how does this perception of screen work relate to Twitch streamers, or how does it affect them? Like, what parts of their job seem like like they hate their life, and what parts of their job make them enjoy it a lot more.
uh, I guess on that note, I would say a lot of streamers are actually programmers too. Because something about Twitch is if you know any coding, you can actually set up your stream to do things with, what do you call it, emotes and stuff like that. Where if someone were to type in a certain emote, your chat or rather your stream can be affected, whether it's a replay system or something popping up or
Hmm.
music changing, things like that. And something a programmer likes to mess with.
Yeah, and about emotes, like I've noticed that there's a bunch of emotes on Twitch, and like I know like a lot of them have like their own backstory, like the
Mm-hmm.
Kappa meme, PogChamp, and
Uh-huh.
so I'm wondering like for you like do you know a lot of emotes and like the background that goes like into the emote?
Yeah, I mean, you have your fundamental staples like PogChamp and Kappa, and then What Face. Um, and a lot of it is as far as the earlier ones, it's around like when they started having Twitch cons and stuff like that. They got some pretty funny facial expressions in the crowd and stuff like that of popular streamers and stuff like that. So they thought it'd be funny to just cut out their face and use that as an emote.
And would you say like learning these emotes and like the background behind them like would is that like more like is that more work for you or is that like just something that comes naturally?
I would say it's you develop the understanding of how they're used. Um, More or less like Kappa being the sarcastic usage, where at first it seems like they're being condescending, and then they keep saying Kappa afterwards, and you're like, geez, that just doesn't sound right. What does that mean? And after a while, you're like, oh, it means he's just kidding with me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's just being sarcastic. Like, that's the phase of sarcasm, I guess. But then lately I've learned PJ Salt emote from Salty Bet, the 24-hour Mugen generator game that it's just computers fighting Street Fighter type games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emote PJ Salt's just a salt container pouring out, and people have deemed that as a kind of like a hate message or toxic message nowadays, where you can't even use it in most popular streamers you know chat is area.
All right, and then so one like final question I think I have is so do you think like so this is just your opinion as a streamer, but
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's easier for like full-time streamers or like people that have a lot of views? Is it easier for them to kind of just explore video games without having to worry about like their community rather than like someone who's like a small-time streamer? who has to like worry about like or or has more concerns about like building a community?
I would say there's different degrees to that. Or you have the some of the biggest streamers where they've gotten to the point where they really don't care what their numbers are because it's always consistently high. That they can kind of do whatever they want. I watched a summit. One a pretty big streamer and all that. Had about 15,000 people watching him browse the Steam store. That's all he was doing, and people were donating money to him, $5 to $50 a time of what the game would cost and their recommendations. And he told them flat out to don't just stop sending me donations. I'm not taking any recommendations. I'm just browsing. I just want to look at games,
Yeah,
That's all he
yeah.
wanted to do. He just wanted people to watch him do that. And 15,000 people just chucking money at him. He's like, I'm not reading any of these. And they just kept throwing money.
But then
And he's
like,
just like,
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I mean, it was, I was like, wow, like this guy's turning down money, telling them don't. He's not going to do any of it. He's just looking and they won't stop.
Hmm. So would you say like people like the small time streamers have like a harder time, or they experience more of these situations of like monotonous work, monotonous?
Yeah,
Fuck, I can't say it. Go ahead.
yeah. As far as getting any footing beyond these people, like the biggest thing I'll say Twitch has is the herd mentality. Whoever has the bigger numbers, people will flock to, and Twitch does make it really easy for that to happen because they're at the top of the list. You
Mhm.
don't have to move your hand much. It's just you click on your game and then you just move your mouse cursor a couple inches across the screen, and then boom, you're at the biggest person there.
Right, right.
So I mean, I've heard they're going to implement newer ways to like sort the list to where you could flip it upside down and see people with the 0 views and stuff like that at the top. So be a little more versatile, without really screwing it around where the top people are just thrown in the middle somewhere or something. But other than that, yeah, it's just the herd mentality. It just makes it so easy to go to the top guy that when you're like, I don't know what this game is about. Would you rather watch someone you have no clue about and his views are very low, or would you go to this guy that has hundreds of thousands of people watching him at this moment, and it's like he must be either really good or it's very entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta write that.
So the biggest thing is, yeah, getting a footing as a small time streamer is very hard, and most times what you're going to run into is other small streamers, not so much viewers. So you're usually gonna establish either like a small community of other smaller channels trying to help each other, or just people just randomly clicking through. There's a random feature you can do too, through a website where it'll just take you to a random page, and sometimes you might find someone like that.
All right, man. Well, thanks for answering these questions, man. Like,
Yeah, man.
I'm like currently working on a PowerPoint presentation, and so I just gotta get like all this information down. But yeah, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, no problem.
I'll definitely be hitting you up about like that bachelor party stuff soon.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
You too, man. Thank you.
Bye.